much as is in the news, teens' views are never heard, despite how much we will be affected. We interviewed some teens and teachers to find out what their opinions are and what ways it could affect life at school. How do you think Brexit will affect the school?
I don't think it will specifically affect our school. I don't really think Brexit's going to have that much effect on how education works. I think the thing that it might affect is the way that apprenticeships are offered and what's available, just because it is going to have an impact on industry and businesses. So in terms of kind of careers and students moving through the school and going on to different opportunities, I think that's where it will impact.
What do you want it to change?
I quite enjoy it to be changing. I mean, I wouldn't want it really to change much at all. It's quite good right now, but I think the changes that it could make, I don't know, I'm not sure, but like there are many changes that it could have.
Do you think Brexit will have positive or negative effects?
I think it'll be a combination of the two, really. There'll definitely be some positives of what people are like, what kind of benefits people will get, like the government and things like that. They'll get their own laws and stuff like that, but negative effects for quite a few people, such as the fact they might not be able to travel as easily, and multiple other repercussions which haven't revealed themselves yet, but they could do in the future.
I think Brexit will have positive or negative effects.
I think that Brexit will have a not very positive effects in the sense that your generations and future generations, if a good agreement doesn't come out with that, you will be probably losing some of the rights that you already have, like freedom to travel in Europe and freedom to work in there. So I think that that's not very positive.
If you could have, what would you have voted and why?
I would have voted to leave the European Union because I just think we should have more control over ourselves and be a bit more of an independent country, and it could create new relations with others instead of being quite dependent and other people deciding for our people instead of the leaders we voted for.
If you could have, what would you vote and why?
Well, I think I would have voted to stay in, really, because I believe that there are multiple benefits for staying in the EU, and those could have effects in the future.
How much do you know about Brexit?
I know quite a bit. I know that it's a group of people who are trying to set up some independence for the United Kingdom, and they believe that we should be separate and we should get our own benefits from that. I don't necessarily believe in that, but yeah, I know quite a bit about it.
How do you believe it will affect you?
I believe that there will be multiple effects, maybe not at this stage, but in future stages, the effects that it could have can be quite long-term, and I believe that it could be an issue for me in the future, perhaps getting to other places for different jobs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you think Brexit will have positive or negative effects?
I've always assumed negative. I'm not in favour of Brexit, but I think it remains to be seen exactly what is going to happen. But I think that in itself is the issue that nobody really knows. So there's scope for positive and negative things to happen, but we don't really know what it's going to be. I think the immediate aftermath of Brexit was very negative in terms of how a lot of people were kind of treated, and a lot of the rhetoric that kind of went around in the media was very overwhelmingly negative.
How much do you know about Brexit?
I know quite a bit. I know like the effects it'll have that we've left, and I know the effects, the differences that would have happened if we'd chose to remain in the European Union.
How do you believe it will affect you?
I believe it'll affect my future in quite a different way, because there's going to be a lot more different opportunities now and a lot less ones involving Europe. Also, like the pound's dropped in price, so that might fluctuate over the next couple of years.
How do you think it will affect the school?
The school? I hope that it doesn't affect the school too much, actually. I don't think that the teaching languages will be affected by it. But I see that in the opportunities that your generation or our students will have in the future, that might be maybe an issue that will come out after that.
What do you want it to change?
What do I want to change?
What do you want Brexit to change?
I want to change our laws so we have more control, and I want us to have a bit more power over our own borders and have a bit more freedom and independence from others.
Do you think Brexit will have positive or negative effects?
I think it will have both positive and negative. I think we'll have some positive effects, so we'll have our own control, laws and things, but I feel like it's going to put us in a lot harder position than before with like less help from other countries.
What way do you think it will affect you?
Me? Well, I'm not sure if it will affect me as an individual, because we don't really know what's going to happen after that, but I really hope that my situation here stays the same, because I'm really comfortable and happy working here in the UK.
What way do you think Brexit will affect you?
My sister lives in Spain, so it will probably affect her, because she's not entirely sure where she's going to stand in terms of can she stay there, is she going to need like visas and stuff, and her job is working for a company that's actually based here, so there's not necessarily a reason for them to keep her there, they could just bring her back. So I think that's going to have an impact. I've got a friend who is French and she's a teacher. She ended up having to report a lot of verbal abuse to the police immediately after Brexit, which that was quite intense for me, with her being my friend. Yeah, I think it remains to be seen exactly what's going to happen.
What do you think, what do you want Brexit to change?
In fact, with me, I would take it back, actually, but I think that in the situation we're at the moment, I think that the best possible deal for both sides, the UK and the EU, and also holding and maintaining all the rights that we have. Like, you've got the chance to go to Europe for a year doing Erasmus grants or working there, spending some time there. I think that's the most important thing to maintain.
What change do you want Brexit to bring about?
I'd like it to be positive in terms of how we go about voting and thinking about how our country is run. So because it's been such a big thing, I think it's got a lot of younger people interested in just politics generally, and I think that is positive. So I'd like to see some changes brought about in kind of how we talk about politics, how political groups are allowed to, you know, all the kind of stuff about 350 million on the side of buses and stuff like that, how they can talk about it, whether we have to tell the truth and kind of be more open about what might happen and kind of legislation, things like that. So I think it might have a positive impact eventually. In terms of how Brexit's negotiated, I haven't really thought about that because I don't think Theresa May has a clear plan yet, so we'll see what happens when that comes out.
Those are some opinions of different teens and teachers and how they believe that Brexit will affect them. Thank you for watching, and we hope you learned something new.